Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. You have
Eventually.
me today.
Sorry about
Basil.
that. I think technology's just failed us both today, so nightmare.
Yeah, between light bulbs turning themselves off, batteries in keyboards, and codes for logins, we're doing really well today. But at least we're here now, and I'm joined with Mabsy to talk about the game tomorrow against Wolves. It's kind of odd to be doing the pre-match thing. I'm not used to doing them anymore because I usually do match, but this one is the day before the game. So yeah, you've stuck with us today. So let's get into it. I mean, Mabsy, I'll ask you briefly how are you feeling off the back of that game at City? Obviously, you haven't heard your reaction to.
So I'm not being optimistic. At the end of the day, we did. I don't think we played too bad. Even being brutally honest with you, I think we've got to face it. City are club world champions and probably one of the best sides out there. The penalty, it quite clearly wasn't a penalty. At the end of the day, everyone else gets these, not given them, then suddenly we get the punishment. City have done it several times to us, and they don't seem to get them. But when it is, there's something dodgy going on. Third goal, Pickford made a mistake, but you know what? He's been pretty solid for the rest of it. And I don't think he's cost us the game. By any stretch of imagination, we've all made mistakes, and he's been it happens, and that's football, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, we argue that it's a better time to make a mistake. You're going to make a mistake, make it when you're already losing it. It's at the end of the game. We might have had a chance of getting a 2-2, but that's gone now. And I think you're right. The penalty thing was the crucial thing, and it's been talked a lot about in the news since then, hasn't it? Because I think most would agree that although maybe it does follow the rules, it's just an absolute joke.
Where do you put your hand? It's a natural position, but then you look at Spurs, the shirt pulling, didn't get anything, but then he does it again 3-4 days later, and he gets a penalty. Where's consistency?
I know. Another ridiculous one. I'd like Everton to be compiling a document right now, going through each game, building up a case of every single decision and justifying them. It won't get us anywhere, but it would just be.
What's the point? I can see it's just frustration, but what's the point? What we get if we get an apology, what's the apology going to do? It's not going to bring us points. It's not going to, you know what I mean? It's pointless. This
proves how valid the matches are, though, doesn't it? If it's that consistent, and I think they touched on it in the press conference, which I'm sure we'll discuss a bit more of at the Wolves press conference. They asked Dyche when was he going to get paid back for some of these decisions. There's been about 7 or 8 of them, and we've not had anything really go our way in that period.
Well, what was it? No penalties. We're in the few. We're the only Premier League team without a penalty this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether that comes down slightly to tactical things. He said it was at Burnley. It was the same problem. I mean, we do put a lot of crosses in. We don't really feed the ball through in the box and get tackled a lot. It tends to be we get early balls in, and if we get them headed away, then, we don't get penalties for pulling and things like that anyway. So got no chance. So let's go on to carry on talking about Wolves. I mean, we can talk about Everton. We can talk about Wolves. We can talk about the game. Did you watch the press conference?
I haven't had the chance. So have you?
I have watched it. Yeah, I did watch it yesterday. I mean, there's not a significant amount of information. As I say, he touched on the issues with the refereeing and stuff that's been going around. And most notably was the kind of injury situation. Everton, they might see the return of Abdoulaye Doucouré this weekend. He is meant to be sort of touch and go. We know how fit he is, so there's a chance. And then Ashley Young is out, needs a bit of time. Gana Gay's out, but the injury is not quite as significant as thought. which is some good news. And I think that's pretty much it. I think there's a few knocks for Tarkovsky and Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
So, these are things we had to think about in terms of the
So
team.
I think he said Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Tarkovsky sat out training on Thursday because of knocks, but should be fit. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, and that sounds about right. I think that's pretty much the sum total of it, isn't it? We've also had the new, we've also had Thelwell come out and pretty much say that we won't be getting any players in January. So we work with what we have at the moment. The squad is what it is. It is thin on the ground in some places. Having Gomez back is a slight boost in that midfield, which is one of our least depth areas.
He's been like a new player, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be handed another start. Would you give him another start?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been really positive out of the box. I don't know if it's because he's in the shop window, but yeah, absolutely. Give him another outing. Why not? I just think we need what we can get at the moment. And again, it doesn't look like there's much in the way of coming in. Did you see that foul notes in the press conference?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It doesn't look like we're going to have any strengthening in the window unless something miraculously happens.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a total negative. I think at least he's being honest. He's come out up front with it. And, it probably puts Everton in a slightly stronger position. If they do go for any players, teams can't take the mick out of them. They know how cash strapped they are. So the deal would have to work. It would just have to be the right deal.
Yeah.
And we've got so much money on the line in terms of money we have to pay for players from last season and the season before. So I don't think they'll be watching that and thinking we got to pay money back in the summer as well. If we do another deal where we structure it to pay it back in the summer and everything, we just probably exceeding our limits there. But we'd have to get a good accountant in, which it's clear Everton don't have so far. So with Wolves, I mean, what have you made of Wolves? Have you seen much of them this season?
They're starting to have a good. They're starting to come into form, aren't they? Again, as soon as they hit us, I mean, they're another team that are very unlucky with regards to the way that decisions are made. I think their fans are kind of with us in the corruption bit.
Yeah, they have been hard but done by at times this season. And they've had to come through a bit of a period of where they've been, I don't want to say adversity, but they've just come through a period and they've just really kicked on in the last few weeks. And they have hit form, as you said. Look at the last 5 games. I think they've won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. Everton in the same period won 3, lost 2. But noticeably, we are, you could argue, on the downturn. The performances have been good, but the results have dropped. Whereas Wolves it's the reverse. Their last few games they've won, so their confidence will be slightly higher than ours. But it's 2, I would say, quite evenly matched sides. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think better seeing so Craig Dawes returns after missing Brentford, and their top scorer Hanky Chan is available for the game as well.
And obviously he picked up 2 goals in their win against Brentford the other night, one of which was a complete gift by the keeper, but a superb piece of skill to lift the ball over defender and slot it away on, I think it was the 3rd goal and his 2nd goal. He's got to be the real danger man, hasn't he? He's got 10 goals already this season for them.
Yeah, that's it. This is pretty typical. They're going to be available for us, isn't it? You just look at them, look at Wolves where they are. It's 25 points. So if we not have had the deduction, we would have been above them. So they're thereabouts with us, aren't they? They're the same kind of results of what we've been having, I guess. Yeah. Good side. And it's going to be a good game, to be honest. I can't wait to go.
Who else are you worried about in that Wolves team then? They've got a few tricky players, haven't they? Cunha, Sarabia. They sort of remind me of like what we were up against the other night. Not to that level of quality, but the style, the kind of smaller players who like to get the foot on the ball, like to dribble past, a bit of pace. Will make runs in behind through pockets. You know, it could be a tricky afternoon for Everton's defence.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one, buddy, is it?
Yeah, and they've got overlapping fullbacks in Aït-Nouri and Semedo. It's a pacey team.
Yeah.
One player who is out though, from reports, is Mario Lemina, so that's a bit of a miss for them. He's had to go back home apparently for some personal matters. So obviously we hope everything's okay with his family, but he is going to miss the game, which is quite a hole for them and a positive for us, I would say.
Well, absolutely. I think again, send thoughts to his family and stuff like that. Whatever he has to go home for, you know, hope it's all right on a personal level.
Yeah, and I think Everton could boss the midfield. Looking at their midfield, they play 3-4-3, don't they? Really, Everton could overload them. Onana, Ghana. The only thing I would worry about is our fitness levels, and it's not fitness as in running in the game. It's just like continuous matches, week in, week out with the same exact team. We've got to match them as in every game. And can we go again after these two losses and just pick ourselves up?
I think, yeah. It depends. As I say, hope the heads hasn't dropped too much. But you know what, though? Both games, we've been in it. I really do think that we have been in it. So hopefully they can take that positive. Take that negative and turn it into a positive.
Yeah.
Because as I say, they've not let themselves. This is it. You know what I mean? If we fail to play, I think then yeah, but we haven't. They've not dropped that consistency, and I think we're getting there. But if they don't let the heads drop, which they haven't been doing, let's hope they can come it.
Yeah, and I think tactically we have played well in those couple of games as well, and the performance has generally been there. Particularly against Spurs, and the away games is something we've relished, and I'm sure you're glad to hear that because you've been going away matches for years and not getting much joy out of it.
Yeah,
I mean, you've enjoyed them, but we've not been getting many results, have we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've had some shockers over time, but yeah.
So now you're
excited too. It's the last we're starting to get some away form. You know what I mean? It is good, but you know, again, we need that home form, and I think we are slowly getting there. And I'll be the first one to admit, I think, you know, I wasn't impressed when we got Dyche, but the way that he has transformed us, you know, absolutely, he's changing us. He can take the level of fitness is going up. There's a synergy in the dressing room. I feel there's communication. You've got Andre Gomez coming back and actually, you know, fighting for the team. Does anyone know what's happened to Delhi?
We'll see.
Because that's gone on the quiet, hasn't it?
The last I heard was he's quite a few weeks off.
Still.
Yeah, I think he's sort of back on the grass, sort of back towards playing, but Dyche will want him to basically have an entire pre-season.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for him. He'll probably have the sort of Gomez school of return. I mean, Gomez has been around for like a month, hasn't he? But he's just been playing under 21s matches the last few weeks. And plus you've got the question of the money. So I think that's one that's slightly difficult to deal with. You know, I've got a team I've picked out. I mean, we can also bring in some of the comments because like we've got Chris has joined us as usual. Thanks, Chris and Peter. I can see you're both commenting heavily, and we're going to go through them. He says again, he's talking about Mario Lemina is out, but they've got Pedro Neto and does play in a different position, so it'll be interesting to see how they adjust that. And he's asking, do we start Decore? Do we take the risk on Decore and start him?
Yeah, I think you do. I think you have to. I think you have to go with full strength with Wolves. They're a team that you can break you. So yeah, and it's a winnable game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a game that we can win. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that all games are winnable games, but obviously some games are more winnable than others. And he brings. We have missed them over these past few weeks.
Oh, we definitely have missed Decore. He's just don't have a player like him. It's for me, it's the second balls. Like he just reads where the second balls are going in, and he's in there like a flash. And when you don't have that, Dom doesn't get any support. Whoever's up front gets very little support up front, and the headers just bounce off. Chris is asking about DCL, where he's thinking DCL's flick-ons to better as a pair of number 9s, and DCL plays deeper like Kane did at Spurs.
I feel that they are a very similar player. You know what I mean? I think last night, so when we played City, we took off Beto, bought DCL. I didn't think DCL or there was ain't much difference up top. You know what I mean? Either one of them. I don't think it was that significant.
No, the game didn't significantly change, but it was different moments of the game. I'll bring up this team that I've put in, and I'll explain why I've gone for it, and you can tell me where you disagree. Let me move over slightly. So I have gone with Pickford. Obviously, there's no question in it, despite his mistakes the other night. Back for Mykolenko, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, Patterson. I mean, that's pretty acceptable. That's the standard, defense that we want. Tarkowski's had a knock, but I do believe he will play. I mean, he's just like generally injury sound, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then, midfield, Harrison, McNeil, you'd expect they would play. McNeil's been a bit tired by the looks of it the last few weeks. He hasn't really. He's been good in moments in games, but for me, he's not quite in the form he was about a month ago. But he's got to play. We haven't got many options. Onana, again, we've got no options. He didn't have a great game for me the other night, but he's got to come in and dominate that midfield with Onana and Gomez. Gomez will get more time on the ball. He will get more opportunities to play balls in. And then I've gone for Beto up front because we're away. We'll be on the counter. He's got pace. Gomez can thread the balls through. And DCL is, if DCL's had a knock, I'm skeptical about him. Do you know what I mean? Because of
absolutely. I think with that team, I can't really fault it. I think he will start DCL, but other than that, I think that would be the team.
I'd prefer to see Decore in there, but it's just a measure. We don't know how fit he is. We have not seen the training session. We just don't have the information to make a call like that. So I would think those two will start on the bench. Knowing Dyche, and he wants everyone fully fit and everything like that. And so, let us know what you think of this team in the comments. This is the team I think we will play. So let me bring this off. Let's go back to the comments. Let me go back through comments. Bear with. Peter's saying he doesn't think we're going to get anything out of this if we perform anything like we did at City in the second half.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. But the first half, we were good. And, but City came out at a different level. And again, you've got to think this is basically what fancy football fucking team City. You know what I mean? In comparison, so I just don't think we can do disheartened by it all.
I don't think we were poor in that second half. I just think City, they
stepped up the gears.
They stepped it up, and tactically, I read the interview from Foden. He said all we were told to do at halftime was just keep going because we played so well. Bear with me. I've got so much noise in the background. Mabsy just. Sorry about that. It's
No,
just
it's okay.
so much background noise in the house. Where were we at? City. Yeah. So Foden said it was they stepped. He just said they were told to just go out and keep playing the same way. But I do believe Pep would have taught them about exploiting the gaps between centre backs and fullbacks, because they did create so many chances, and we had to go 5 at the back in the end and put those 3 up to cover that space. So I do think tactically as well they stepped up, and they just know how to win. We can't take too much against that City game, because it's the one game in a season you think you're probably not going to get anything from. Keep going through the comments. Is there anything you have picked out?
I need to have a look.
Chris has highlighted the interesting tactics from O'Neill and Dyche, with both being quite counter-attacking transitional sides rather than controlling possession.
And Arnold's job is to win the ball. This is from the Blues. And Arnold's job is to win the ball from the back and prevent players from running our centre backs, which he's doing. Dele's been injured all season. Yeah, we know that, but obviously there's been talk about him coming back. So yeah.
Apparently, the ref is Tom Bramall. I have to say I've not heard of Tom Bramall.
No.
And Michael Oliver's on VAR. Interesting.
Great.
I don't think it matters who it is, to be honest.
Yeah. So we should go with predictions for tomorrow then.
This has said that Bramall looks like a fringe championship PL ref.
So we want to make a name from the south, won't we?
Nice. Great. Let's give you some stats before we get some predictions in. Doesn't make pretty reading. Wolves have won their last 5 Premier League games against Everton. As many as they've managed in the last 21 league meetings. So they are in form against us. We've only won 2 games away at Wolves in the last 10.
Mm-hmm.
But Wolves are winless in their final league game in each of the last 4 years.
Here's a fun fact. This is the 8th consecutive calendar year that our final league game has been away from home in the year.
I wonder why that is.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. And we are 1 more than we were last season, but for obvious reasons, we should be 11 more. The 5 league away wins is already more than 4-1 in the last previous 2 seasons combined. Fucking hell. Yeah. And again, we are the only top flight team yet to be awarded a penalty.
Really?
It's woeful.
It's also worth mentioning Wolves' home form, winning 4 and drawing 3 in the last 7, no defeats.
So, Gary O'Neill's won 3 of his 4 competitive matches as a manager against Everton. So there we go.
I mean, what does that say to you? Does that have any bearing on your score prediction?
No, I still think we are going to go. I think it'll be a 1-0 win for us. So I'm not going to go. I was a bit cocky, but I think we will win 1-0.
Well, I hope so, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 because I do believe this is 2 evenly matched teams, 2 teams playing similar styles. I think the stats point to Wolves being quite good at home, us being quite good away, and I just see that it's all culminating in like a draw. But I do hope we can get back on track for the wins.
Absolutely. Okay. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say on the wrap up?
Don't think so. Just as I say, bring your voices, and we can't try and get us on the radio, quote and unquote, because it's not legal to show the game anywhere. It is just it still has been on me in this day and age that you can't watch a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff. I think it's absolutely fucking atrocious.
Disgusting.
It is. And at the end of the day, we're getting ripped off left, right, and centre. And then you get the Premier League with all different campaigns against it now. And you're just like, well, either show the games, provide a platform, where you can watch your games at a reasonable price, right? And we can watch all of them, not just ones that are decided and not across three different platforms that you have to subscribe to.
It just
Absolutely
doesn't make any
ridiculous.
sense. But I still don't get it. I mean, I get the intention behind it, support the lower league.
Leagues.
But to be honest, I'm going to watch Everton at 3:00 tomorrow, even if I'm not in a stadium. I'm not going to go to lower league game and then try and somehow not get the score.
Totally.
It's like just a bit ridiculous, really. I understand it. Maybe if it was on Sunday, you'd go to a lower league match. No Everton playing. Why watch the other games? But it's just nonsense.
Of course.
Okie dokie. We will wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm sure lots will watch back. So please enjoy. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow for the pre or post match.
Up the Toffees.
Toffees.